Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel on this stunning, beautiful day. Absolutely lovely. What have I got? I've got fork seals and forks oil, 2 indicators for the front panel, brake and clutch cleaner. People have told me, Daniel, you've told me for a couple of years now, best way to go. You're right, absolutely right. And a squirter bottle for that. If anyone's not doing that at the moment, if you think about it, when you buy a can, they're now what, $4.50 of brake cleaner, and you get a dribble of actual oil in it, and the rest is air. So this is 5 litres of pure brake and clutch oil, and then you pressurise a bottle to squirt it. So for me, you know, absolutely the right way to go. And I need loads of that today. I need to really clean up these front brakes. I need to clean up the forks. I've got the brand new radiator to go on. That's great news. That's here. I got the a pattern part radiator replacement, £100 brand new. That should absolutely do the job. And then I'm in a position where I need to consider the idle issue. So once I've got the radiator on, I'm going to do the fork seals first. And then once I've got the radiator on, I'm going to run the bike. I'm going to run it and see if the idle sorts itself out after a little while. If not, I'm going to disengage the wax choke, because the bikes, it never needs it in this country, if we're being honest. It'd have to be really cold, and it'd have to be sitting a while. So best to disengage that system or replace the whole thing. That is an option. I'll see how I feel about that at the time. I'm hoping that once the fluid's moving and it recognises that it's kind of warm enough. I think the water almost wasn't getting there. Alright? I think the water almost wasn't getting to the sensor. So the sensor wasn't sure that it was warming up. That's my guess, because the radiator was so far gone. I'm hoping now it does get to the sensor and that all works. So a lot of work to do today. I've done that thing I do where I've come to the garage over an hour early, hour and a half early, 9:30, 9:30 AM today, because I kind of just want an hour and a half to myself without Rajab or anyone else popping in yet, because I want to get the tougher parts done. Ideally I'll do the fork seals before he gets here so that I can just do them. I don't do fork seals properly. I don't break the forks open. I've done that once and I ruined a good set of forks because I'm just rubbish at it, even with the chalk gun. I slide them in from the top, and I stand by that. If people don't like that, people don't like that. But I take the old ones out, I slide them in from the top, the new ones, and I seat them, and that's the way I do it. I'll use some sort of plastic container to slide the new ones down into place so it doesn't get roughed up on these, although I will also be cleaning up these while I'm down there, making sure that's all good. I'm not going to touch down here because that's the travel area, but everywhere else I'm going to clean up as best as I could. So that's it. I'll do bits and pieces of filming as always, and we'll get one fork off at a time, and we'll look at where we go from there. I'll get some sort of axle stands under the bike here and a jack just to make sure it's up. Rear stand is a lifesaver in this situation, so that's all good as well. Step one for me, we have to loosen these top bolts on top of the forks. They're a right pain in the arse to do once you've taken everything apart. From there, stabilise the bike. From there, this nut here, and take off the handlebars, drop them down. Front wheel off when the bike's stabilised. That will just help us slide it all out, and then it's one at a time. I've got to get the brake cleaner set up and ready because this is caked, all of it. Not this side so much, but that side is caked in fluids. Someone kicks, I think, was it Kicks Springy? One of you said to have that much impact to explode a fork is rare, so we might want to check that they're straight. I'm dead set they're straight, but when I take it off I will have a good look. I mean, it's one of the first things I thought, but my guess is the seals were bad to start with, and then the bike's been sitting for, well, 11 years now, and I think they've just deteriorated and it's got worse, and as we've moved it around, I doubt, I mean, you can tell anyway at this stage. I mean, they don't look bent at all to me. I'm kind of doing a comparison between both sides. Look, that'll give you an idea. You see what I'm doing there? I'm looking at the one behind. But I will know for sure once I've got them off and in my hands. I'll be able to test that. So, good spot there, actually, mate. Good spot. So when a bike's already stripped, jobs like this feel so much nicer. Because there's just space everywhere. This forks off. It's definitely straight, dead straight. Definitely leaking, clearly leaking. I'm just going to give it a good rinse up with the brake cleaner. And to clean this bit as much as I can while I'm here, and just douse it all at the moment while I can, and then I'll look at draining the oil. I'm going to drain the oil into a pot, of course. I think it's fairly toxic, and then I actually need to get a good measuring jug, because I don't think there's one here. Okay, I'll have to run down to the shop down the front and get one, because there's an exact measurement. I think it's 475 milliliters of fluid. Milliliters, centiliters, I don't know, but yeah, 475. So I will make sure I put in the exact amount. But you also do need to make sure you've drained the old enough, you see, otherwise you're putting in too much, and if you put in too much, that's how the seals kind of overpressure, I believe. So good clean up. This is free and loose now, everything's off. If I compress it a touch with my body, you can see how leaky it is. The seals just had it, really, and not worth messing with anything else. Dead straight, absolutely dead straight. I was concerned about that, but absolutely dead straight, so I'm really pleased. I was worried about that. I'm going to crack on. I've stopped doing the fast forward sections in the videos. I think there's no point doing that. I'm either putting sections in or not. I'm starting not to like the fast forwards, so yeah, I'm going to be doing this, which is just picking the phone up when I'm ready to film something, doing a bit of filming, and then moving on. So 362 milliliters is what goes in. Lucky I checked, I had 475 in my head. Always worth checking. 362 milliliters. I'm going to use my old fuel measuring thing because I've got it here. It's so what am I looking at? I'm looking at 400 to 360, so 350. These are in tens, are they? 60, 78, 90. Yeah, 60. All right, perfect. So I'm going to use this. That's how much fluid came out. So yeah, it seems about right. And then I'll dribble this in. The fork's over there. All the seals are done. It was fine. I found the new seal quite hard to seat. I used the old seal to then to pack it down. Where is the old seal? Yeah, so I used the old seal first, and I hammer down on that. Here it is. I say hammer down, that sounds too harsh. I seat the old one, the new one with the old one. So I put this on, and then I bash onto this if I'm bashing at all. It really doesn't need much. I use a really light hammer, this light hammer at times, and evenly just seat it. So I think that's all good. I'm going to put the oil in. I think that one's ready and good to go. I've cleaned the bottom fork as much as I can, but I want to try and get a little bit more, just because it bugs me a bit. See, it's not as clean as I would like, although compared to what it was, it is much better. And again, this is going to be a 20-year-old usable bike eventually, so I'm not too worried, but I want to get a little bit cleaner, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to put the oil in, seal the top, get all that sealed. I'm going to put it all back in and nip it up so that I've got all the heights right, and then move on to the other one. I've held Rabjab back an hour on this occasion. I've said come down at 12 today instead of 11, because I just need to focus sometimes and get these stuff done. Forget the bottom part, but look at the difference of the shock. It's all up. I've nipped that one up so that it's just done and out the way. And then look at this one. I mean, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, the travel area is good. That's all we really worry about most, the travel area. We don't want anything down there. But this will clean up to that. This looked like that earlier. And when a prospective buyer comes eventually, seeing that up in there, it isn't going to help. So I clean up like I did earlier on the top of this, and I'll go back to seal swap. Yeah. Hey guys, so before I put the second fork on, Rabjab said best to put the radiator on, and he's right actually. So this feels like a good time to go to Rabjab's wise words of the day.
Put the radio on.
They were his wise words. Put the radiator on, and he said that even after Nat clearly confirming that he's busy at the moment, Rabjab personally messaged Nat and said, "Why aren't you down at the garage? You lazy git. Why don't you just go up there and say hello?"
I don't know how to get up there.
It's not far. It's not far. He wouldn't mind you popping in. I'd be glad to get rid of you. Me and Nat will have to fight for custody.
I think I'll drive you nuts up there. I'll drive you nuts here. That's what he told me coming later on.
Well, he might need help lifting that big old engine soon. Maybe
we should go up there in a couple of weeks.
Although saying that, by the time this video's out, he's probably done it. Yeah, we'll soon find out. But message him, say, can I pop up? Because he won't mind you popping up for an hour. It's a nice ride, by the way. Yeah. It's up near. It's past Broxbourne. It's kind of that kind of ish.
I'll speed up and go on the motorway.
Right, I need a drink. Rabjab, you need a drink?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to come back. Radiator on, coolant in, second fork on. Should be able to get at least the bike back to normal. I'd love to get the fairings on, but
forget about the fairing. Long we just sort out the choke and everything.
That's what I'm thinking, Rabjab. That is your wise words of the day. We need to make sure it's running. So
maybe give the carbs a clean.
No, there's no carbs on it. Not so wise words. Rabjab's rightly so saying settle up the radiator properly and stuff. He's absolutely right there. And then, because we might need to tackle the automatic choke. Hardest part of tackling the automatic choke is that we can't really tell. It's fuel injected, so it needs the tank because it needs the high pressure pump, right? But we can't really adjust anything. All I can do is take off the choke fully and hope that the idle's okay. There might be an idle adjuster down there. There might be. But it's going to be a bit of back and forwarding with the tank. My hope is that it just starts and does settle to an idle once the radiator is on, because otherwise it's a bit fidgety. You have to take the airbox off, ideally the tank, and you're messing in a different way there. Okay, so replacement radiator. A couple of issues that are just annoying, but not a huge issue. The return pipe is on this side on here, and on the old one it's to the inside, so it's coming out here. It just means this pipe comes out. It's a more direct route. I don't like this kink. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice clean line, it will work, but I think it's a bad design. And the bottom mount doesn't mount at all. It's nowhere near the mount where it should be. Now again, I'll put a tie down there and it'll be fine. It's rock solid, it already is, but ideally I wanted an absolute direct replacement. At this stage I'm going to clean up the brakes while I've got access to them with plenty cleaner. I'm going to do the same with the discs. You get it?
Huh?
You get it all?
Yeah.
Yeah? That was your wise words of the day.
Get what?
Clean up them brakes as much as possible because they're good, they're working, but they need to be clean from the oils that were kicking about. And then we should be able to put the front wheel on, and then Rabjab's right, we should top up all of the coolants and run it up to temperature basically. And then well, let's see if the revs settle at some point, because that's the key really. They need to kind of settle down. If not, you have to take the airbox off, the tank off, and then I can show you what I mean about the choke. Basically you just disable the choke. Okay, so where we are is new radiator is full, brake pads, front shocks, front wheel is all back on and secure. I'm going to go and get the battery off charge. We're going to come back, we're going to fire the bike up, circulate the coolant. That reminds me, I better put some in the expansion bottle. Circulate the coolant and then see if the revs drop. That'll be fun to see if the revs dropped, and go from there really.